Dear friends of Surge, dear friends of the sustainable energy field, I would like to welcome you to the 4th episode of SERGCast. Today we have the pleasure and the honor to host Sophie Dourlens-Quaranta. Sophie is a coordinator of SmarterEPC project. At the same time, she's a managing partner of the French branch of R2M Solution. Sophie is here in Cyprus for the plenary meeting of the SmarterEPC project. And we kindly invited her to have a short discussion about the SmarterEPC project and in general about the SRI in Europe. Sophie, I would like to thank you for accepting our invitation to be an invitee in SERGCast.
Thank you.
I would like to start this discussion with you by asking you to give us a few words about your professional journey, how it started and how it ended, and how did you reach R2M Solution?
Sure. So hello, Paris. Hello, everyone. So my professional journey actually started with my initial education in math. So I have a PhD in math in a very theoretical topic. And I quickly realized that I was not this kind of person working on theoretical aspects. I wanted to work on more practical, concrete, tangible, and impactful topics. So I chose the energy sector. And my first position in this sector was at the French energy regulator, where I was in charge of electricity market design at cross-border level. And I also worked on the gas sector. And it was 20 years ago, just at the beginning, I would say, of the creation of the single energy market. So it was super interesting. And the people I worked with were already at European level. So I have been involved in European discussions for 20 years now. So my contact persons were the other energy regulators, but also the transmission system operators. And after some years, I moved to the private sector, the innovation sector, and I was still working on transmission systems mainly, meaning so the high voltage, grids and interconnections with neighboring countries, etc. I was involved in Horizon 2020 projects on this topic, and progressively, since, as you know, the electricity systems everything is interconnected from the transmission systems, the big power plants, but of course, the electricity systems are more and more decentralized with the uptake of renewable energy systems. So the distribution level and the consumers of electricity are more and more important in the system, and in particular, buildings are, of course, represent a big part of the consumption. They have a big potential in terms of energy efficiency, but also energy flexibility. And so I've been working in this field, so energy efficiency, buildings, flexibility for several years now, and that's how I ended with the SmarterEPC project.
Okay, great. Thank you, Sophie, for this introduction of your professional pathway. And now we come to SmarterEPC. So SmarterEPC is a live set project. It started almost 2 years ago. It's about integrating EPCs with the SRI. You are the coordinator of this project. And I would like to ask you to give us information about SmarterEPC. What is this project about? What are we doing in SmarterEPC? I need to mention at this point that our spin-off at Surge, Eufia Tech, is a consortium member of SmarterEPC, and this is why we're having this discussion. But give me few more details about the SmarterEPC project.
Sure. So first, maybe I should explain what is the Smart Readiness Indicator, because it is not so well known at the moment. So it's a new instrument introduced by the European Union. It was introduced in 2018 in the Directive on the Energy Performance of Building. And to explain what the SRI, so the Smart Readiness Indicator SRI is, first maybe just make a comparison with energy performance certificates, so the so-called EPCs. They were introduced more than 20 years ago, so it's a well-known scheme that so it's a certificate that is delivered to every building and that scores the energy performance of the building. The SRI, it's another instrument that can work in parallel compared to EPCs or also in synergy, and it is what we are doing in SmarterEPC. And to explain the SRI, contrary to EPCs, the SRI is considering the active elements of a building instead of the passive elements. So EPCs are going to consider like the insulation of the building, the wall, the roof, or the windows equipped with double glazing or simple glazing, also the technical performance of the heating system, for instance. The SRI does not consider the same aspects. The SRI considers the smartness or the smart readiness of the technical building systems. So, for instance, concerning the heating system of a building, the SRI does not consider the performance of the heating system, but its smartness, meaning are there some thermostat, a centralized thermostat, or different thermostat in every room. In this case, if there are different thermostats in every room, it's more efficient, it's more comfortable. So the SRI will consider this type of aspects and also everything related to the charging of electric vehicles, for instance, monitoring and control systems, a lot of things that EPCs are not considering. And the SRI also considers all these aspects not only from the angle of the energy performance, but also considers fault prediction, maintenance of the buildings, the comfort of occupants, their health, and also, very importantly, the capacity of the building to provide flexibility services to the electricity grid. So this is to explain what the SRI is, and you already know what EPCs are. And now SmarterEPC is working on the integration of the two instruments. So the idea is that instead of having EPCs on one hand, SRI on the other hand, why not trying to integrate both instruments in order to be more cost efficient? And also in practice, we think that, of course, when an assessor is going to evaluate a building, to visit a building, they can do at once the energy performance assessment, but also the smart readiness assessment. And it is what SmarterEPC is working on.
Thank you for the answer, Sophie. So SRI-EPC integration, this is the main idea behind the SmarterEPC project. Can you give us a few more details for the project? So who are the partners? What is the duration? What are the main deliverables that are aimed from this project? And what is the vision of SmarterEPC as a project? Can you give us a few more information on that?
Yes, sure. So the project started in October 2023, so almost 2 years ago, let's say. And we still have a bit more than 1 year to go. It's a 3-year project with 9 partners in total. And we are covering 6 EU countries. And to give a bit more of information on what we are doing in the project, I would say there are 3 main blocks, let's say. So first, we are working on an on-site audit procedure. So what I explained previously, an assessor is going to visit a building. They will have this procedure to follow that will encompass energy performance, smart readiness, and possibly other types of assessments. So the idea is to have an integrated procedure that will be more efficient, let's say, rather than several distinct procedures. Another building block of the project is the so-called SmarterEPC Hub. So here the idea is to have a single interface, a digital tool, to which building assessors will connect in order to input the data coming from this on-site visit, but also possibly coming from more, let's say, sophisticated tools, BIM models, digital building logbooks, etc. And this hub will be connected to existing tools that are already calculating the EPC and on one hand, and the SRI on the other hand of the building, and the tool will deliver the outcome of both assessments. And another important aspect in what we are doing is the support to member states, since all this work is part, in fact, of the implementation of the directive on the energy performance of buildings that was revised in 2024. And at the moment, so it's very recent, it was less than 1 year ago that it was finalized. And now the member states have to transpose it, to implement it. There are many aspects in this directive, so the member states need some support, and that's why the European Commission and the LIFE program are funding projects like SmarterEPC and other projects, of course. And so our role is to support member states to make some tools, some methodologies, some studies available to them. And as an example, we have a template for a single EPC and SRI certificate that has been developed by UFIA colleagues, by the way, but also in the framework of SmarterEPC. So we have this very nice result that is made available to member states, and they can use it if they wish. We have other results. We have some reports studying the situation concerning the EPCs, SRI in the various countries. We are also developing some training material. We are developing a support center for member states. So a lot of different tools that will be at their disposal to help them implement the EPBD, so the directive.
Thank you, Sophie, for this information that you have provided for the SmarterEPC project. At this point, we have the link of the project in the screen. Those of you that are interested to see more information for the SmarterEPC project, you can click on this link. Now, Sophie, one of your main duties, one of your main missions is as a member of the service contract for the implementation of the SRI, that is an advising service to the European Commission. And you have been involved in this project for, I think, 3 or 4 years now. Would you like to give us some more information for that? So what is the service contract? What is the purpose? What are you doing? What did you see? Some of your experiences with this service that you are providing for the Commission.
Sure. So this is indeed a service contract for DG ENER, so the Directorate for Energy at the European Commission, and we have been working on it since 2021. Before that, there were other contracts in which we were not part, but with this contract, the methodology for calculating the SRI was developed, and in cooperation with stakeholders. There were a lot of consultations, etc. And thanks to these technical studies, let's say, on behalf of the European Commission, the SRI was introduced in the previous revision of the directive. It was in 2018. So in 2018, there was this instrument that was introduced for the first time. And since it was completely new, of course, to the member states, there was a need for some help, of course, to promote it, to explain it, to develop training material, communication material, and to help the member states in testing the instrument. So R2M Solution joined this team and a new service contract in 2021 with the mission to launch this support to the member states. So initially, there was no member states, of course, testing the SRI because it was brand new. And during the first months of our contract, 4 member states volunteered to test the SRI, and among them France. So for us, of course, it was we were very glad to support France, but also the other member states, of course. And now, in 2025, in total, 15 member states have launched a test phase. So more than half of the EU member states.
Including Cyprus.
Including Cyprus, and this is super good news. And I'm not going to give you the list of the 15 member states because I'm afraid to make a mistake.
But so if I may interrupt, in the case of Cyprus, UFIATEC and Frederick University are among the 4 partners that are consulting the Energy Ministry of Cyprus for implementing the article of the directive for the SRI and for running the testing stage for Cyprus as a member state, and with the obligation to deliver the final framework for the future implementation of the scheme in Cyprus.
Yes, and it's a very good example because in every country, of course, the national authorities cannot test such a technical scheme, let's say, only by themselves. They need some support. So in general, they are supported by universities or technical centers, research organizations. So it's a very good example that you are mentioning with Cyprus.
Okay, great. So a big transition towards smart buildings, towards smart cities, the SRI, a journey that started a few years ago. R2M is an active member in this journey as a partner in the service contract for DGNR. And from your experience so far, what do you see as the biggest challenges in implementing the SRI in Europe? So what obstacles do we have? What challenges do we face? And how do you see these challenges being faced by the member states?
So to be honest, there are many challenges of different nature, let's say. There are, of course, some technical challenges, some organizational challenges. There's also the difficulty in terms of capacity building, because at the moment the SRI is not well known. So to implement it, there is a need to train professionals so that they know how to conduct an SRI assessment, etc. But before that, the staff in the national or regional authorities as well should develop capacities concerning smart buildings and why we need smarter buildings, etc. So this is, I would say, one of the challenges. Another challenge that I see, so it's a bit more technical, let's say, in the details of the methodology, but in fact there is this SRI methodology that is defined at the EU level. Let's say the structure of the methodology is well defined and should be common to all the member states, but there are also some more, let's say, detailed aspects that can be tailored by each member state to consider their specificities, either in terms of the energy sector or policy choices. So just to give some simple examples, in this general methodology, so the 3 pillars, let's say, of the SRI are: 1, the energy efficiency and operational efficiency in general of the technical systems of the buildings. 2, it's everything related to the occupant of the buildings, information provided to the occupants, the comfort, convenience, health, etc. And 3, the flexibility aspects. In the by default, I would say, the relative weight of each of these 3 pillars is 1/3. but it can be decided by member states depending on policy choices that, for instance, flexibility should be more important and should weight, I don't know, like 50%, and the other two should weight 25%, or vice versa, etc., depending on policy choices, but also on specificities of the market or of the electricity grid. So just to continue with this example, in case flexibility services are much needed because the electricity generation means are not flexible enough, it can be a choice of the national authorities to, let's say, overweight the flexibility pillar of the SRI, or the other way around. So it is just an example that choices that have to be made. So it's normal in the EU that member states can take their own decision. Of course, they don't have to follow exactly the same rules, let's say, in every details. But at the same time, there is also a need for harmonization, because otherwise the SRI in France and the SRI in Cyprus will be completely different, impossible to compare and to use this at EU level. So there is this balance that has to be found, and it's always a challenge.
And if I may discuss on the Cypriot case, what you have just described is the challenge that we face in Cyprus. So the fact that we are lacking smart grids, we are lacking this infrastructure that will allow the flexibility, results to the fact that all buildings in Cyprus have a very low score in terms of flexibility. Mm-hmm. And this is something we are discussing with the other partners of the consortium for the testing stage, which I need to mention is the Cyprus Energy Agency, it's Frederick University, UFIATEC, and CYRIC. Mm-hmm. We are discussing about the fact that perhaps in Cyprus it would make sense if the flexibility impact was not that promoted, if it was a bit suppressed, in order to have a higher score in terms of the SRI and a more representative result with regard to the smartness of buildings.
Yeah, maybe to complement what you just said. So in every country, there is some specific difficulties with flexibility indeed, because the flexibility markets are not well developed in general. What I can say concerning France is that flexibility is really a hot topic. A lot of initiatives are promoting flexibility in France. So even though it is, of course, still difficult, and according to the results of the SRI test phase in France, it is indeed on the flexibility aspect that the scores are quite low. But things are really evolving fast. And so it's really up to each country to make their decision depending on where they stand in this evolution.
And unfortunately, in Cyprus, the topic of smart grids is still not discussed. We have other priorities currently. Okay, the fact is that we are an isolated energy system, and we face other challenges. To my point of view, and I have given my opinion in public in the past, the smart grids should be a priority for Cyprus, because we have to be smart in the way we manage our production and, in general, the integration of renewables into the grid in smart ways. At this point, the Cypriot energy system is more focusing on storage, which is not wrong, but it seems that the focuses in Cyprus are not in a balanced way. So we don't have any discussions on smart grids or improving the flexibility of the grid. We discuss about improvement of the grid, but this is not the main priority. In any case, discussing about the SRI, what would you see how would you see the role of industry and of SMEs? So what do you think that the different SMEs and the different innovators, what role could they play in scaling the smart readiness solutions into the market?
Yes, well, clearly, the Smart Readiness Indicator, and more generally speaking, the raise, let's say, of smart buildings open a lot of new opportunities for innovators and for the private sector in particular. To take an example concerning R2M solution, we are, so R2M means research to market. So we are indeed interested in innovation and pushing innovations to their market and to their users. And we are distributing several innovative products, and some of them connected to the smart building sectors, using artificial intelligence in order to better manage the buildings, to optimize energy systems in the buildings. We have also a product on predictive maintenance. So all this is connected indirectly to the SRI, because using these products will increase the SRI score of buildings. So the SRI is not directly promoting these products, but indirectly we can imagine that in the future, when all non-residential buildings in the first step, and maybe later in the future, all buildings, including residential ones, will have an SRI assessment, then it will be also part of their value in a way. And it will be an incentive for building owners to increase the SRI score in order to have smarter buildings with, more energy efficient, but also more comfortable for the user, ensuring a better air quality, etc., etc. And this, of course, will need innovative products, innovative solutions in order to make it possible.
So multiple levels in terms of products, in terms of services, in terms of IoT, in terms of sensors, in terms of data management. So SRI includes many aspects of the industrial sector, and we do expect that we'll see the building automation and control industry expanding, growing to cover the demands of this new scheme.
Yes, and not only to cover the demand of the SRI, but the SRI, it's also just one building block, let's say, of the EPBD, the Energy Performance of Building Directives, that is introducing a lot of new aspects, digitalization aspects, so like digital building logbooks, but also the development of national databases for the energy performance of buildings. So data, digitalization are gaining importance, and the SRI is one part of this broader landscape.
Okay, great. So you just mentioned R2M, means research to market. Mm-hmm. And your mission is to identify intelligent solutions that are mature enough to enter the market. You are working extensively in this field the past years with R2M. R2M is a very big team. It consists of over 100 employees across different countries. In Italy, Pavia is your, let's say, headquarters with our very good friend Thomas Messervey. And you also have the French branch, the Spanish branch, and you are very active in the field of promoting research solutions to the market. In your view, what are the ingredients that help a research project make its leap into marketable solutions?
It's a difficult question, and but if it
was sorry to interrupt. Yeah. I'm asking this because, as you may know, since 2021, Eufia Tech, our spin-off, is trying to make its way to the market. Yeah. And we want to listen from you, because you are in the field of R2M, of research to market. What are the secrets of making the, let's say, of reaching the target of the market?
So it's a difficult question indeed, but if it was an easy question, then we would not have a job. Okay, so I think it's so what I can give is just a few hints based on my own experience. First, I think it's super important in research projects to be really open-minded and flexible. So when a research project begins, we have a certain vision, certain objectives. We have a contract with the funding authority, of course, obviously. But as you know, these projects are quite long. They often, the duration is often 2, 3, 4 years. So the landscape can evolve a lot. The policy landscape, but also other aspects. There are also sister projects that are working. So I think it's really good to stay, let's say, very flexible and to adjust possibly the objectives of the project in order to deliver something that is useful despite the evolutions of the landscape. Also, another aspect is that we should not always focus only on the main result that we expect from a project. Often there is a kind of flagship result, something that is going to which the consortium give high visibility, it's the main objective, etc. And that's fine, but there are also some secondary results that finally can be also very useful and have their own exploitation route. And sometimes the main result is not as promising as expected. This is normal because this is research, this is innovation. There is no guarantee that the main result will be a success. But there are also always secondary results that, if you sum them up, in the end can be really super important and good surprises in a way.
So the secret may hide in secondary results in some occasions, and you may find the innovative solution where it was not expected or during implementing the research. And this is a fact because research is a dynamic aspect.
Exactly.
And if we knew exactly what the results would be when we started, then it wouldn't be research. It would be something else.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sophie, we are reaching the end of this very nice discussion that we had. Again, it was my pleasure to host you in SERGCast.
Thank you.
And I would like to ask you a last question. So we have been discussing the past 35 minutes about smart buildings, SRI, the challenges, the industry, R2M solutions related to smart buildings and the smartness of the built environment. And this is a personal question, and I would like to close with that. So what excites you most about the future of smart buildings and smart cities? So what makes you more excited and more inspired about the future of this field?
So it's a very rich field, I would say, smart buildings, with a lot of different dimensions. Of course, the technological aspects, of course, but also the societal aspect, the financial and economic aspect. And this is what I like very much, is to combine all these dimensions. It makes things more complex, but also more interesting. And also taking a step back and on my career, let's say, I started in the public sector at the French energy regulator, as I said. So it was in the, let's say, I was in this field of policy making. And now, as a consultant, a researcher, working on a policy support project, for me, it's really super interesting. It is what I like. So to have an impact, to work for the general interest, and try to improve the situation in general, the energy sector, the climate change, etc.
Sophie, thank you very much for this discussion, and would like to thank Dr. Sophie Dourlens-Quaranta, a mathematician that found her vision and her mission in the field of smart buildings as a managing partner of R2M Solution, and also as a strong member of the service contract for the SRI in the European Commission. So I hope you found this discussion interesting. Our next discussion will be among 3 colleagues. That would be Evi, Kyriaki, and Phoebe, discussing about the Bio in South project. I would like to thank you for watching this podcast, and we hope to see you again with us in the future.